Good morning, Terrell here. We're going to be installing some gauges in this 2000, I think it's like a 12 STI. You've seen this on the channel before. I did a front mount setup on it, some tuning, and then air pump deletes. So now we're doing AFR gauge, wideband obviously, AFR, boost, and oil pressure. And he's gonna do a pillar mount. We don't have it in yet, but you're gonna start obviously this piece right here by removing this airbag guy right here. Pops right out, and then there should be, usually there's a 10 in there. This doesn't have one clearly. It's just gonna pull, and boom. First step's done. And I believe these cars, you have to go through the bottom of down there. There's a hole in the firewall where the harness comes through. So I'm gonna put all three through, and these are Glowshift gauges. We're gonna see how quality they are. They're not super expensive. I have used the boost gauges before with no issues. And then the oil pressure, you're gonna have to get a sandwich adapter, is what I at least prefer. This is just gonna go where your oil filter goes on the bottom, tightens down, and then you put the oil filter on here, and then you have a plug here, here, and there, and then this is for the oil pressure. And these ones you can do like oil temp or whatever, and then you just plug these two off is what I'm at least gonna do. You can also use these for an oil cooler and run these externally to, like I said, an oil cooler. The nicest thing about a boost gauge is you're gonna typically route it off of this line to the blow off valve. I'm just gonna probably put a T in here and then right off there, and probably try to find somewhere up here. I think there was already a line. Yep, there's already a line in here. So someone has tried doing this at one time, and I'm just gonna route it through here, kind of through the fender and into here, and then I'm gonna get wire taps for all three of these, and should be pretty simple after that. If you buy an AFR gauge, you're gonna have to have some sort of a bung in your downpipe. This one came with one, luckily. I just have to remove that. Some of them don't, and you have to get them welded, but usually AFR gauges come with a bung, which is kind of nice. I just removed the boost gauge stuff, and we got new vacuum line. We have a T, and then we have the boost gauge itself with the wiring harness attached to it. This T is gonna be pretty simple. I'm gonna come in here, the T from the factory, from the wire from the factory, from the manifold. I'm just gonna cut this in half, and then put this T in like that, and then have this line right here go to the boost gauge. And it started with the wideband install on this car. It is currently in the downpipe, right there, nice and tight, and then we ran it through here with the extension harness, and then the oil pressure sensor we also ran through here. Currently, it's all in the car. We just need to run it through the side, and then the new piece just showed up, and I'm loving it. All the Glowshift gauges fit in perfectly, and I'm gonna go ahead and start wiring this all up, get it powers and grounds on, and then we have this piece that came with the oil pressure thing, and it's incorrect. So we accidentally got it's 3/4 by 16. We need 18 by 1.5. So once that's in, get the oil pressure stuff done, do an oil change, and then wire the rest of this up. All right, so we wired all the lines through the passenger side on the bottom, across here and up, and then now we have the gauge pod set up in, and all the wires are to it. Now I have to just wire these wires to the actual fuse box down there. I just checked. This one is constant power, this one's constant power, and then this one's only power when you switch the headlights on, which is what I want for the dimmer on all the gauges. So I'm gonna end up using these fuse taps, install them, and then we're gonna check and make sure it's gonna work correctly. These should all have on and offs, obviously, and then it should have an actual color change, and then a color change save as well, and dimmer. Alrighty, we got all the wires in. So yellow, I did exactly what it said, constant source yellow, constant source of power, so it's always on. The red is the ignition switch on, so you have to find one that when the ignition isn't on, it doesn't have power. The second you turn the ignition on, it has power. And then the headlight switch source, obviously, that means when you turn the power on, and then it shouldn't change, but when you turn the headlights on, it changes. And then the vehicle ground I got in, so now they're all installed. Got some nice wiring taps inside of it here. All looks very nice. I'm gonna clean this up in a couple minutes. And here's your final product as far as the actual gauges go. There's ignition on. All of them light up and start up nicely. And then when you turn the headlights on, they all dim. All right, next up, I'm waiting for the oil pressure adapter. It's a little adapter on the bottom that pushes a sandwich plate down lower for the oil filter. Once I get that new piece in, it should be tomorrow, then I'll install that, make sure all these gauges are working correctly, and then take this for a drive, and then dial in tuning with the wideband and get this all cleaned up. All right, it is the next day and it has arrived. I got this new adapter for the oil filter. It's a sandwich plate. So I'm gonna go ahead and screw this on and then put the sandwich plate on and then plug the sensor in. And then once everything's good there, I'm gonna go ahead and, I just found out it's actually an M20 by 1.5, but I got it in there. We'll go ahead and route these wires correctly so they don't obviously burn the exhaust. I'm gonna go down and then try to go to the side and kind of zip tie it in there. But at least the oil filter, sandwich plates on, and I gotta get this tight and then another filter on there. And here's first start with the everything on. Make sure the lights are off. Nothing's working up here yet for some reason, but I'm gonna get this working in just a minute. I thought I'd show you the wiring on this car. As far as, I've got to call it zip ties still, but I got this line coming up and then it's held up to here. And then it goes up to the top up here. And then back here, and it's all hid by the arrow separator. And I already have all the zip ties on these lines. I'm sorry you can't see them very well, but they're all tied back there. Through the car, tied on the bottom. And then once in here, they're all tied up, so you literally can't even see them. Nice and cleanly. I'm still trying to finish this area up. I lost power to the Glowshift top gauge, the AFR. But I just found one of the wires had popped out right here. So I'm gonna go ahead and rewire that, and then once they're all good, hopefully drive this and maybe do some tuning and at least see how everything's running at idle. All right, I got all the gauges working, got good oil pressure, got good boot or vacuum, great AFR at idle. It's a little bit lean, but no complaints here. I think I'm gonna end this video here. I'll do tuning on the next video. I gotta do an oil change still, bleed coolant the rest of the way and drive this, make sure everything's clean and good. But thank you for watching this boost gauge install. Like and subscribe. Thank you.